Good morning, guys. Brenna here. We are doing our team call for Team Hustle Hard, and it is September 14th, so almost halfway through the month. And this morning, we're going to be talking about push months. What are they? Why do we do them? And kind of the logistics of how they all work. So let me preface this by saying um, pushes are going to be a imminent part of your business if you are trying to grow your business, especially into a part-time or a full-time, um, uh, you know, uh, business, I guess. If you're trying to make money with this, then you need to be doing pushes pretty regularly. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why. So I also want to say before I get started, if you have not watched the video from Eric Worre, Worre, I'm not sure if that's how you say his name. He does a YouTube video called How to Recruit 20 People in 30 Days. And it is kind of a general explanation of what a push month is. So I'm going to talk about it specifically for Beachbody and for our business, but he kind of talks about it in more of a general sense. And I definitely recommend watching that video before you watch this training, because it'll definitely make a little more sense. I also recommend reading his book GoPro, which I just finished, and it definitely simplifies network marketing in general, but also how pushes kind of work and how to simplify those down. So I'm going to start with why we would do a push. So when we're talking about doing a push, what that essentially means is we are talking to as many people as possible. We are trying to advance our business. In a network marketing business, it doesn't matter which network marketing company you're a part of. Slow and steady does not win the race. So if you think about it in the sense of like every month you're bringing people in, but also in a business like this, every month people are stopping or dropping out. So if you're doing slow and steady, you're basically replacing the people who are leaving, and essentially your business will become stagnant at some point. Which you see this with a lot of people who get to diamond and then they don't go anywhere from that. They literally stay right there, or get to emerald and then they don't move forward, because maybe they are doing the vital behaviors, maybe they are doing talking to people every day, but they're not talking to enough people and not fast enough. So a big part of network marketing is truly numbers rather than even just your content you're putting out or how you're talking to people or the conversations you're having. It really comes down to the numbers. So why doing a push is important is because in a push month, you are trying to talk to a stupid amount of people. What that is going to do is going to increase your numbers, and help you advance your business. So rather than just replacing the old, you're replacing the old and some. So what this is going to do in the moment is probably going to increase your actual commissions because you're talking to more people. So the chance of more people saying yes is higher. It is going to, like I said, increase your business, give it kind of a kickstart / jump forward, because the more people you're talking to, the more you're going to be able to have those conversations and get it started. Also, what Sam talks about a lot is like pumping that well. So when you talk about pumping the well in network marketing, you're talking about, we always joke that every person you talk to has to say no to you at least once. So like get that first no out of the way. Essentially what this is doing is getting that first no out of the way on a mass scale. So that way in 2 or 3 or 4 months, that person, you've already been talking to them. They've already been watching you now. They've already said no to you. Now they're searching you out to say yes. Or now when you follow up with them, they're like, okay, I'm ready. Because the reality is we are bombarded with sales all the time. We are bombarded with products all the time. So as people, we automatically feel the need to say no. Even if it's awesome, even if it's perfect for us, there is this intense thing to be like, no, I don't want anything else. So keeping that in mind, or that they're not ready in their life. And this is, my husband, who's really big and has been doing sales his whole life, he said, this is one of the hardest things for people to jump on the train. And you know why? It's not because the product isn't amazing. It's not because we're not amazing coaches. It's because you're asking somebody and they have to want to change their lifestyle. Okay, so this is not just about, it's not just about, oh, this is great for me and this is great for you. Like, this is an entire lifestyle change. Eating better, working out, all of those things can be really hard. And if it wasn't hard, people would already be doing it. So keeping that in mind, that it has to be something they want to do in order to be successful. So you have to talk to them at the right time when it works for them. And the other key piece that I got from Brigida, who is our upline, is the reason why pushes are so important is because this is a 3-month out business. So the hard work you do today, you are going to see the financial and the increase in your challengers and all of that stuff in 3 months. Not this month, not as you're doing it, but in 3 months. And that's why most people in network marketing last 3 months, is because they're not willing to put in the work now to see the results in 3 months. So if you really want to have a big month in January, then you need to start that 3 months before that. You need to do your push 3 months before that. I did my first push in July. I hit Success Club 4. Ooh, like that's not exciting. But I moved over 500 people through a funnel. 3 months down the road now, I hit Success Club 14 and we're halfway through the month. Okay, so it's not about the numbers I hit in July. It's about the numbers I'm hitting in September, because all those people who I talked to then aren't ready now. So why you do a push? You want to increase your business and you want to do it quickly. You want to get those numbers out of the way. And that's what Eric Ward talks about in his videos, the true breakdown of the numbers. And he very much simplifies it to where it's like, wow, that makes so much sense. So I definitely recommend watching that. I kind of touched on this a little bit. What is a push? So essentially the push in Beachbody is moving people through the funnel. If you don't use the funnel, you have another system, that's okay. I'm going to refer to the funnel because that's kind of what I teach my coaches. And that's something that I personally use that I've found is very effective. And a lot of the top coaches use. But essentially that's taking people from stage 1 through stage 7 in a 30-day period. And that's taking an insane amount of people. So traditionally, like in a month, if you're doing the vital behaviors based on that business activity tracker, you're probably going to take, it's like 3 people per day. So it's not that many people through, maybe through a full funnel once or twice. If you're starting like with 450 people and you take them from stage 1 to stage 7 in the funnel in a month, that's 450 conversations you had. Those numbers themselves, and think about how many don't respond to you, how many say no to you, all of those things. That's okay because you've started them off with that first no. You started off with that first conversation, and that is the hardest conversation. Following up with somebody to be like, hey, remember when we were talking about this and you loved it and it was great and we had this moment and you were like, I can't right now, but next month's here, let's go. So much easier. So get that first one done and out of the way. How each person does a push, everyone is different. Eric will recommend starting with 300 people on their list. Like I said, I started with 450. And for some people, if you're talking to one person a day, maybe doing a push is talking to 10 people a day, or 20 people a day. That's a huge increase, right? So you need to do something that is going to be reasonable for you, but keep in mind that it's also called a push for a reason. It's meant to push you. It's meant to push your business. And Josh Coates always says, set unattainable goals, set insane goals. Because if you set a goal for Success Club 50, you're probably going to hit Success Club 30, which in compared to hitting Success Club 5 is phenomenal. It's okay that you didn't reach 50. That doesn't mean that you didn't succeed. But if we set a goal for 10, then we're probably going to hit 5. So keeping that in mind, that when you're planning out your goals, plan for insane, plan for next level goals, because those next level goals every single month are going to push you to reach these insane goals over time. So then how to do a push. So like I said, everyone does their pushes differently. I did mine through a funnel system on Excel, which is the normal list I use. I downloaded every single Facebook friend I ever had and every conversation I've ever had. And I put everyone in the list and did a stage in the funnel. So if they were brand new, that 450 was new conversations. I also continue to move people I've been talking through the funnel at the same time. Some people want to do start to finish. Like when I did my first push, the first week, I moved everyone through stage 1 through 4 in the funnel, which is likes and comments, reach outs, and likes and comments, because that was considered like my first building that relationship in week 1. Week 2 was sending out invites to 450 people. And then week 3 and 4 was following up with people, moving people into different avenues. So if they said no to me, or if they want to invite later, or if they need a 90-day follow-up, I made sure to put those people in those lists during that week 3 and 4. And then, like I said, all the people who weren't new conversations, I still moved them through the funnel every day. So coming up with your own system, whatever is going to make you comfortable, that's going to be key. Some people are like, okay, well, I need to move 450 people through the funnel, but I don't want those all to be day one brand new. I'm going to move 450 or 300 people or 100 people, and I'm going to, do 35s, 34s, whatever, however you want to do it, is totally fine. I definitely recommend writing out a calendar, like a big one that you have to look out every day, of how many people you're going to talk to every single day. And make your goal insane. If your goal is to talk to 200 people a day and you don't hit 200, but you hit 150, that's amazing. Would you have ever talked to 150 people in one day before? Not likely. So make insane goals for every day and for the month. And then the other piece that I recommend, so you're doing these big pushes, you're going to need to have a conversation with your significant other, your kids, or whoever, that, hey, mommy is going to be a little busy this month and going to need to be spending every extra second I have to talk to a stupid amount of people doing that. I need to be focused on that this month for our family. So having that conversation, acknowledging that it's going to take up your time, and then committing that. When I was doing my push, I got up every single morning at 4 a.m., but one day a week I slept in. Finding the time, finding the pockets. We all have the pockets of time, whether it's after your kids go to bed, whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's during your lunch break at work, whatever it is, making that a priority and finding those pockets of time where you're going to do it, and then making that happen. The 5-second rule is a great book Sam's been telling me about, where everything you do, you just count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And she uses it to get out of bed, send an invite, all of that stuff. Great book if you're having worries about doing all of this stuff or how to do it effectively. So that's going to be key. Acknowledging that it is going to take your time and that you need to be focused on that. I also recommend getting some of your posts pre-made, especially the big posts that take a long time and a lot of thought, creating those in advance. So then that way, at least one a day, or even if you can schedule a week out, or 2 weeks out, you could schedule the whole month if you wanted. I'm not very good at that. I like to do it I'll schedule my one big post, and then I add in my daily life posts throughout the day that take 5 seconds. Cause I'm just here I am, whatever. But the big, getting people thinking posts, those take a long time, and they can, kind of take some time to type out or to make a video or whatever, and have those saved and ready to go. Also, if you're running challenge groups, which I hope everyone is, having your challenge group pre-made. So my next push will be in October. So in September, I'll have my October and probably my November challenge group already made. So then that way they're ready to go. They're ready to be started. They're ready to set up. So one, I have people, when they say yes to me, I have something already set up for them to go to, one. But two, I'm not taking time away from my push to set that up. It's already done. It's already ready to go. So being prepared, setting yourself up for success. In this process, don't forget to still do your vital behaviors and take care of yourself, working out, getting your shake going, but taking that time, prioritize the push, because the push will give you results. And the other last piece of advice, when I talked to Brigida, was that she said, so, how did you feel doing your push? And I was like, I was exhausted. It really took a lot out of me. And she goes, in 14 months, how I got to 6 figures, making $2,000 a week, was by pushing like that for 6 months straight. And then I would take 6 months off. She goes, it's not saying that you have to do this all year round, because you can't, and you do it however you want. She's like, but 6 months out of the year, minimum, you should be doing pushes if you want to grow this business. When she said that, I was like, wow, she's like, but really it is a numbers game, and it is about speed. She's like, so when I was pushing for 6 months, that next 6 months, was such a rollover, which makes a lot of sense. Now that I'm 3 months out, that makes a ton of sense to me. She's like, but you could do it 3 months on, or 1 month on, 1 month off, 1 month on. And when you're off, you're not off. You're still working your business, but maybe you're not working it 4 hours a day or whatever. You're, working it an hour a day or 2 hours a day. But can I say the other piece, when you do a push, then doing your normal vital behaviors and working for an hour a day or 2 hours a day seems a lot easier, guys. Because it seems so simple. You're like, oh my God, I got this. I can talk to all these people. And it really, if you're having issues with, or struggles, I shouldn't say issues, but if you're feeling uncomfortable with inviting, if you're feeling uncomfortable with doing reach outs or adding people to your network or whatever, do a push month. Talk about tearing off the Band-Aid. You don't have time to waste on feeling uncomfortable. You're just like, oh, person said no, moving on. Person said yes, okay, let's go. I'm gonna have that convo. Like, it just removes a lot of that uncomfortableness. I don't know if that's a word. Uncomfortableness. It takes that away and makes it a lot more like a normal thing. And the last piece, when you're doing a push, when you're doing this business in general, I think we get caught up a lot in the fact that this is like a sales business rather than about building relationships. But also, this is my biggest thing, and there has to be a switch at some point where if you found the perfect nail salon, so this is for all my girls who love getting their nails done, or the perfect hair salon, or the best coffee in town, would you tell your best friend about it without even thinking twice? I am that person. I will like blast it on Facebook. I will tell everybody if they're like, hey, do you know someone? I'm like, actually, I got this great girl. Here's her number. I am that person. So yes, I 100% would. And I wouldn't think twice about it. That's what this is. This is something that has changed my life, that has changed many, many people's lives for the best. So when you look at it as like, this is the best coffee in town, and let me tell you about it, rather than, hey, I'm trying to sell you my challenge group. Hey, I'm trying to be that person to be there for these people who, if everyone could do health and fitness, they would. If it was easy, they would. So obviously they haven't found something that makes them happy yet. They just have to be ready to make that change. So I guess that's the end for me. Pushes are amazing. I definitely recommend doing them. If you want to be a business builder, if you want to make this even part-time, you need to be, maybe if you're not doing pushes 6 months out of the year, but you need to be doing it at least 3 months out of the year, to where you're going to have that momentum. You're going to have that rollover. And that's how you're going to increase not only your commissions and like people in your challenge group, but also coaches, people who like want to talk to you, people who are reaching out to you, and just building friendships. Like, I talk to more girls now every day than I did obviously before I did this, because at that point I was talking to so many. So I'm going to unmute you, like, and see if you have any questions or if that all made sense.
It all made sense.
Yeah. And how are you feeling about your push? Does that all sound like something that's doable?
Yeah, the only thing for me that I was kind of worried about is in the video, he talks about no distractions. And obviously I'm a single mom, so
that's not real life.
That's not real life for me by any means. But so December is going to be my slow month for work at the Ritz. So that's why I was kind of thinking that would be a good month to do the push.
Awesome. And so you would be like prepping in November and getting ready, which is a couple months out. So I definitely think when he talks about it in the video, that's not realistic for me either. When he's like, you should be there 8 to 16 hours a day, whatever. Right. That's not realistic. But there is a piece of like time that I have found when I was doing my push, that it was like before Peyton woke up, if I got up at 4, I had 2 hours. And that's a pretty big chunk of time where I would put on my headphones and I would just work and not think twice about it. And in that 2 hours, I would get as much done as I could. And then when she would nap on me, I would have her on me and I would be on my phone doing stuff. And that was twice a day. So that was probably about 30 minutes twice a day. And then after she went to bed, I had about an hour. So in reality, I probably had about 4 hours of time where I was focused on working throughout the day. Now, the weekends when I went to the hospital, it was a little different. I still got up. I still did the 2 hours before I went to work. And then at my lunch break, I worked, which was 30 minutes. And then when I got home, I did another hour. So those days it was like 3.5 hours rather than 4 hours. And then if during the day, you know, I had some breaks or some downtime, I would message some people. But the key is, if you think about it like this, if you're aiming for whatever number, you know, like I'm going to work for 4 hours a day. When have you ever worked on this business for 4 hours a day before? You know what I mean? So anything you get is going to be huge for your business, regardless if it's someday, you know, you only had 2 hours and you were like, it just was one of those days. I can't get more. Then you leave it at that day. You took 2 hours to put towards your business, towards your goals in your future. And that's huge compared to what you would have done before. You know, so obviously December, with it being slower, your other job, that's going to be huge. And the little mom is waking up. And having yourself set up in November for December, that's also going to help huge, to where when you do have pockets of time, you're just able to work rather than having to do other stuff. But it's a process, and we'll do it together. I mean, I'll totally help you if you want. But I'm going to stop the recording real quick. All right, bye guys.